I call on Government Order of the Day number 1.
Appropriation 2016-17 Estimates Bill, Committee Stage.
I declare the House in committee for consideration of the Appropriation 2016-17 Estimates Bill. Mr. Chairman.
The House and Committee for consideration of the Appropriation 2016-17 Estimates Bill. The Business Committee has determined that the estimates debate will be 12 hours in length and will be divided into 10 separate debates covering the sectors set out in the estimates of appropriations for 2016-17. Each debate will be led by a call from the chairperson of the Select Committee nominated by the Government as the major committee reporting on the sector. Committee chairpersons are expected to focus their speeches on the major findings of the committee. I will expect that following that, speeches may become more partisan. The Labour Party will have 2 calls, the Green Party will have 1 call, New Zealand First will have 1 call, and the Minister and the Chair will have 3 calls in response. All calls are 5 minutes in length, and members may take unused allocated calls later in the estimates debate. In addition, there are 64 5-minute supplementary calls that have been allocated to parties, and that may be taken as parties see fit during the 10 sector debates. At the end of each debate, the question will be put that the votes in each sector stand part of the schedules, so that time taken on each question is in the hand of members, depending on parties' use of their allocation of supplementary calls. However, this debate expires after 12 hours. The estimates debate should be relevant to the government's current spending plans as contained in the estimates of appropriation. The following sectors are currently available for debate: environment, external, finance and government administration, health, justice, primary and social development and housing. The reports on the votes relevant to these sectors are available separately on the table. Members, we come first to the votes in the environment sector, volume B5, volume 3. The question is that vote conservation, vote environment and vote parliamentary commissioner for the environment stand part of the schedules.
Mr. Chairman.
Scott Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's a pleasure as Chair of the Local Government Environment Select Committee to lead off this environment sector portion of the 2016-2017 estimates debate in committee. Sir, the Local Government Environment Committee produced 3 reports, 2 of which I wish to refer to today in this debate. The pro forma report on the Parliamentary Commissioner for the Environment was exactly that, a pro forma report. So it's my intention today, sir, to concentrate on vote environment and vote conservation. We heard from 3 ministers in this area. The Minister for the Environment, the Honourable Nick Smith, Minister for Climate Change Issues, the Honourable Paula Bennett, and of course Minister for Conservation, the Honourable Maggie Barry. And sir, the committee was, I think, very interested to hear on a wide range of issues that the ministers were able to bring to the attention of the committee in terms of the budget estimates that have been allocated in this year's budget. But overarching all 3 presentations from the ministers and our deliberations as a committee were a clear indication that this is a range of ministers who within their portfolios brings to the Parliament of New Zealand a clear, definitive, concise approach to managing, protecting and enhancing the environment of New Zealand, for which we are all very concerned and very appreciative of. Underlying their messages to the committee, sir, and detailed in the reports, was essentially what was the government's blue-green agenda, which seeks to ensure that economic growth and improving the environment can and should go hand in hand. And those are matters that were a constant theme as the ministers presented to us and submitted themselves to questioning on the budget allocations for their various portfolio responsibilities. The Minister for the Environment, the Honourable Nick Smith, was, I thought, particularly keen to highlight to the committee, and it's featured in the report back to the House, the importance of the resource legislation that is currently before the Select Committee for consideration. And Sir, this, he was keen to point out, is the phase 2 of the RMA reforms that the government has been working its way through, and he was able to present to the committee an implementation of a work program that related to the implementation of that legislation. So the committee was very keen to hear about that. One of the other areas that I was particularly interested in as chair was the achievements to date in terms of our marine protected areas and further developments, both legislative and regulatory, that will enable us as a nation to further extend the range and options for preservation of marine reserves around our exclusive economic zone. Of particular interest to the committee, Sir, was the matter of the Kermadec Ocean Sanctuary Bill, also before the committee for consideration. But this proposed Marine Protected Areas Bill that will likely come to the House later in the year was a matter that the Minister was keen to draw our attention to. Sir, the Minister for Conservation made a number of valid points. Other speakers in this debate will cover those off, I'm sure, but there were two that I was particularly keen on, and again they are referred to in the report back to the House. I was particularly interested in the matters relating to conservation partnerships, both commercial and community partnerships. We heard from the Minister that for every $2 to $3 for every dollar invested, there was a payback of somewhere between $2 and $3 in terms of enhancing the conservation objectives of the government. There have been 9 significant national commercial conservation partnerships, and the Minister during the hearing went through those in some detail. They included organisations such as the Next Foundation through its project Janzoon, the Fonterra Living Waters program, the Next Foundation's program in Taranaki, the relationship with Air New Zealand, the relationship with Genesis Energy, and the relationship with Toyota, all of whom are adding their commercial weight to improving and preserving and protecting our environment and conservation initiatives. Another area that I thought was of particular interest was this area of community partnerships. We know, Sir, and we heard from the Minister, that there are now some 600 community volunteer organisations involved in working towards further protection of...
Mr. Chairman.
The Honourable